Okay, Newcastle United versus Brighton and Hove Albion in the FA Cup fifth round. What a chaotic game. What an entertaining game. It went to extra time. Did not go to penalties, thankfully. But it was a very chaotic, very entertaining game. On a technical standpoint, probably not the best game, but on an entertainment standpoint, highly entertaining. There's two red cards, there's two goals ruled out for offside. It goes to extra time, and then near the end, the winner for Brighton is ridiculous. But let's get started because in the first half, Newcastle were the better sides, and they were creating a lot more than Brighton. Brighton couldn't create much in the first half for the most part. Isak, Gordon, they're creating problems for the Brighton defence. Uh, they get a penalty. Isak scores the penalty on 22 minutes, and you're thinking, okay, now they've got that first goal. Brighton have to come out a little bit, and that will open the game up. Now, Isak would have another goal ruled out for offside a few minutes later on 31 minutes. He is offside, but the finish is brilliant, by the way. I mean, if he hadn't been offside, that would have been a cracking finish. And Newcastle are clearly on top. They're creating all the opportunities. Brighton haven't really shown anything at the other end. It's a very even midfield battle. It's open in midfield, but Newcastle are looking more threatening up front. Brighton just can't get going at this point in front of goal, and then Minteh scores a goal with their first shot in 43 minutes. Now Trippier tries his best to block, it's a slight deflection, but that was actually Brighton's first attempt on goal. And Newcastle just switch off from a throw, a couple of passes. The finish is brilliant. The running behind is brilliant. I mean, Trippier covers the ground really well. I mean, if Trippier's a couple of years younger, he probably does make the block on that. He has lost half a yard of pace. And you're thinking Newcastle have let things slip a little bit. They were in control. They switched off just before half time. It's 1-1 at half time. The second half was entertaining. Both sides opened up a little bit. It was scrappy, yes. There was high energy, however, and it was a very open second half with no one side in true control. They're both having chances. And then the red cards. This is the interesting bit. I think this is where the momentum really swings because Anthony Gordon, that is a really stupid red card on 83 minutes. It's after the whistle. He makes contact with the player's head, the opposition player's head with a shove. Now, there's not a lot really in that, but it is after the whistle has gone. It's completely unnecessary. I mean, does the Brighton player make a little bit of it? Yes, but that is a complete brain snap by Anthony Gordon, and I think that has a contributing impact to Newcastle losing the game because he was very, very effective in the wide areas in link-up play and driving the play forward when he had the ball. His record in 83 minutes is a major turning point. However, Lamptey would get sent off in added time at just after the 90 minutes for his second booking. He had been booked earlier on in the game. So he got his second yellow, he gets a red, and it's a bit of a chaotic ending to normal time with two very unnecessary red cards, but by the letter of the law, they're necessary. And I think Anthony Gordon's one is just stupid because he could potentially, and most likely will miss, the League Cup final against Liverpool in a couple of weeks. Lamptey, he could potentially, it's two yellows, it's red, so he'd probably get a lesser suspension, but still ridiculous challenge to put in when you're on a yellow card. Completely unnecessary, right at the end of normal time. The resulting free kick, Fabian Schär puts it in the net. It's ruled out for offside. Now we have to look at the definition of offside because his arm is what is offside, not his right foot, which is what he strikes the ball with. It is his arm that's offside. You can't score with your arm. So while under the current letter of the law that's offside, there does need to be a bit of common sense applied to the offside laws and a bit of a review there. In years past that would have stood. So, and if that was in the previous round, that would have stood because the linesman didn't raise his flag. So, this is where we've got the semi-automated offsides and VAR in this round, not in previous rounds. And again, is that the correct decision? You can't score with your arm. So I think the how the laws are written down and how they're interpreted, yeah, common sense sometimes is lacking in regards to the rules of the game or the laws of the game. But it's ruled out for offside. Again, another turning point. That was right basically the last kick of the 90 minutes. because that being ruled out for offside and Alexander Isak's other goal being ruled out for offside, it's 1-1 after 90 minutes. We go to extra time, and extra time is even more entertaining than the 90 minutes. It really starts opening up. There's goalmouth scrambles at both ends. There's chances going in at both ends. Both sides are trying to avoid a penalty shootout. Brighton with the better team in the first half of extra time. The second half of extra time, both sides have their own phases in possession and on attack. Newcastle, towards the end of the second period of extra time, they're the ones who have got the momentum. Then there's the counter-attack and the Danny Welbeck goal. I mean, he times his run to get on the ball. That is a ridiculous finish. He's basically sort of semi-chipped it looks like. But his finish was excellent. There can be no denying that. His finish was excellent. And it's the second game this season against Newcastle at St James's Park where Danny Welbeck has scored the winner. Now, we can debate Danny Welbeck's career. Did he really achieve the highs that was as expected of him? He has had a lot of injuries. He's not a regular starter. He normally comes off the bench these days. He's missed a lot of time through injury, but he can score clutch goals, and he's done it again, and he's scored after 114 minutes of play, and he had a massive impact when he came on. It is interesting that he didn't start the game. I think if he'd started the game, he gives Brighton a different outlet up front, a different target up front, which is what they were lacking until he came on. But Danny Welbeck had a big impact on the game after he came on. It changed the way Brighton played and attacked. It gave them an out ball. And that finish is just, that potentially could be goal of the round just for the way he's finished it. The build-up play, the quick counter-attack was pretty good as well. Newcastle obviously attacking at the other end. It's end-to-end at this point. It's very open. The finish is brilliant. I think that was a fitting goal to end a very chaotic, high-energy game. So there we go. Newcastle United have fluffed it, although they are in a cup final. Brighton go through to the quarter-finals yet again. And Brighton are knocking on the door of making another FA Cup final. Last time they were there was in 1983, so they are knocking on the door of potentially making an FA Cup final. They've got a very good chance this season. A lot of big clubs have gone out. They have a very, very good chance, and it's just going to be interesting to see who they draw in the quarterfinals. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts on the game in the comments section below. We've got Manchester United playing Fulham up next, which is a really interesting game with how Manchester United's form's going at the moment, how they're playing. And Fulham are having a very decent season, mid-table side, very decent season. So that could be a very, very interesting match at Old Trafford. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts on the game in the comments section below, and I'll have some more content for you guys very, very soon.